Welcome in and welcome back to the Gym Lounge Happy Hour. I'm Red, this is Noah as usual, and we have Luch with us today who just finished competing at Raw Nationals down in Memphis this past weekend. And Noah and I went down to watch, as you heard in the last podcast, and we're terribly bored, but I think Luch had a good time.
Yeah, I didn't get caught for taking Tren. I didn't get drug tested, so if I were to actually win, I would have got drug tested, but I got lucky, so.
I guess speaking of that, so with the drug test, do they only test the winners, or how do they?
This is my guess, I know for sure top 5 in nationals is tested, and in the open meet, it's top 3.
Okay.
But this is my guess, and I'm pretty sure if you hit, world records and really any sort of record, I would have maybe above the state level actually, like a national or a world record. Anyways, pretty sure those people will get tested, but I guess it depends on the number and stuff like that. It's really weird. It's random, obviously, so
Sure.
I think it's whatever the head refs thinks.
It's random, but if you won,
well, besides the winning part, it still is kind of weird. It doesn't really make any sense.
So
to me.
are there still there's people that get tested outside of the winners then too?
No.
Okay, cool.
Which honestly is why I don't know for sure if that's the reason, but we used to be affiliated with the IPF, which is the International Powerlifting Foundation, so we used to have worlds meets and just meets everywhere, and now we're not affiliated anymore, and I think it has something to do with drug testing.
And when you say we, you mean USAPL?
Yes, USAPL, yep.
So it's USAPL Raw Nationals. I'm assuming every federation has their own Raw Nationals and things like that. And have you always competed with USAPL?
Yep. In 2020, me and my best friend Alex started, powerlifting together and doing mock meets at the YMCA. And as horrible as that was, and our training went okay, we still progressed a little bit. So we were like, you know what, fuck it, let's do a meet. So we did our research, and USAPL is the only federation that does drug tests, only drug tests, because there are federations that do the tests, but they are mainly popular for the non-drug tested side. So they have 2 sides of it. But in my personal opinion, I don't know how the hell they run their drug tests, but I'm assuming it's nothing crazy compared to my federation, because they're very strict about it. So
let's start from the beginning. How long have you been lifting? How old are you? You mentioned you got into powerlifting at the Y. What's the timeline here?
So I'm 14. No, I'm kidding. I wish. No, not really. So I guess I've been lifting since I was 13, but I started actually training squatting depth, pause benching, doing a normal deadlift in 2020. So it's been 3 years.
And you're 19 now.
Yes, and I didn't get a coach until I've had 3 coaches. The first one was a moron, charged an absurd amount of money, used a lot of steroids.
Hey man, he's sitting right here.
Exactly. But you're probably a lot bigger than him, honestly. He's just super skinny.
You should learn how to use steroids better.
Gotta use what Noah's using. But in terms of coaching, I got another coach after that, and he's my age, and he was just, I couldn't afford him, and honestly, his level he didn't have as much experience, and he's a good friend of mine, but I just didn't think it was going to work out with him, and it really didn't. So then, a few months go by, I did another competition, kind of did my own training, and then I met my coach, and that's gone well. So ever since I started with him, I've progressed a lot more, my form's got a lot better, and I really feel like my real powerlifting career started this year.
Is that when you started with him? Was this year?
That's exactly.
Yeah,
How long have you been with
April, I think.
April?
End of April. But that's when I really felt like I was doing the right thing in the gym, and my training was getting better, and just everything has just shot up. But technically, I've been powerlifting for 3 years. So, because I did my first competition. Was it 2021 or was it? I think it was end of 2021, if I'm correct.
So nationals was your which number?
It was number 5, but it was my
Okay.
first nationals, and it took me 3 years just to get to that qualifying total, and that was 1,267 was the qualifying total for my weight class, which is 90 kilogram, which in American units is 198, and it took me a lot of time to get up there, but that's what I needed to go. So.
And do you have to hit that at a regionals, or is it any meet you
What
can hit?
does it mean
qualifying?
too when you say qualifying total?
So basically, you can hit that in any open competition, like as long as obviously it's regulated, it's USAPL, like
Sure.
it has to be through them, because it has to go on their system. But in terms of like, so my brain's not working right now. I'm tired.
So what they're
Qualifying total, right? It's
Yeah.
it's your heaviest squat, it's your heaviest
Yeah.
bench, it's your heaviest deadlift, all added together.
Yes.
And there's a certain threshold you have to meet before you can qualify for
Mhm.
nationals. Is what I'm.
Yeah, sorry, I'm super tired right now, so my brain is just
Hey,
not
I
functioning,
offered you
but
the rain, man.
I appreciate it. So basically, like you said, it's your squat, your bench, and your deadlift, and that's based on your heaviest attempt that counted in a competition. And now each weight class, and I think the lowest weight class is 40 kilogram, maybe more, for women's and men's, they have their own totals. So I don't know every single one besides mine, but it varies on weight class and age. So if I was younger, the QT for nationals, the qualifying total would be lower. And if I was older, so I'll be 20 in March of next year, obviously, and that's going to be like 1530 or 1525. So I probably
300 pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So as you get older, your qualifying total goes up.
It sucks. So
It
I probably
does
won't be.
suck.
I probably won't be competing next year at nationals unless and honestly, based on my progression, I think I might have a chance of maybe qualifying, but we'll see. I mean, there's it was kind of crazy. So earlier this year, signups like opened up last year, but earlier this year, like the spring, all these people were like, "Oh, I don't know what the lifting cap is for this meet." So basically, lifting cap is like the amount of lifters that they would want to meet. Like that's as much as they would want. But
They
like,
have a cap from what I saw this weekend, man.
yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot of people.
But they didn't say how much it was. So all these people signed up in like a week, and I signed up because I was like, out of the blue, I was like, let's just do it now. But
This was before you hit a qualifying total, or?
I hit it.
Oh, you already hit it. Okay.
It was a few weeks after, I think.
Can you
actually.
register before you hit a qualifying total, or you have
No,
to? Okay.
you have to hit the total.
Okay.
Well, don't quote me on that because I think you could get lucky, but I like I said, I don't really know how their system works with that.
Sure.
But anyways, in terms of like the national meet, everyone signed up at once, and it filled up like that. Like in a matter of like 24 hours, it filled up. It was like 1,000 something people. And all these people like were pissed because they were planning on doing nationals and not signing up till like summertime, closer to fall, because obviously the meet was in September, and everyone's like, oh, it's fine, we can wait. Because usually, I mean, when I sign up for competitions, I wait till like a month prior, 2 months prior at the earliest, because
It's
usually.
very strong man of you.
Yeah, honestly, but I decided to sign up early without knowing that was the case, and all my friends that wanted to do nationals with me that actually qualified didn't sign up in time. So it was unfortunate.
Yeah, that does suck.
So you think? I mean, that sounds like the qualifying totals are too low, then, right?
So what's funny is I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
That is the problem. So as much as I was happy to be there, I definitely think like based on the people that were ahead of me, they did set a lot of the qualifying totals way too low. Like I think mine probably should have been like 1,300 for my age group, or like 1,350, but a lot of them are so low to the point where even if you've like done one competition, you could have went there. Like there's people there that was only the like second or third competition, so it's pretty easy to qualify for that. But I think they're gonna make some changes with that.
You would think. I mean, if
So-
they're capping within a week, or if they're hitting the cap within like a week or two of opening it, and there's plenty of people that still want to sign up, you'd think they would make some changes to the situation. And I mean, it does kind of sound like it's one of those situations where maybe it's a little bit of a money grab, where they're trying to put as many people in there as they possibly can.
It was $170 to register for that, and that was just for my weight class and age. When I do open competitions, you have the option to just pay $90 and sign up for like either just your age group and your weight class, or you can do the open, which open means it's just against everybody in your age. Sorry, not age group, but like if you're a man, everyone that's a dude, everyone that's a girl. So basically, like you can do both in an open meet, but in nationals it has to be your age group. So it was like $170, but if I were for this open meet, sorry, I'm all over the place. For the open meet, I signed up for open, and I signed up for teen 3, which is 18 and 19. That was $130. So it's definitely expensive.
What's the benefit of signing up for multiple things?
So
Better
I mean,
chance of winning,
Chance, yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely it's definitely the chance of winning, and also I signed up for team because if you actually just do open, your team, it's not gonna your number, your total is not gonna like record for your
Oh, okay.
age group. So that's the main thing. Besides like wanting to win, it's the fact that it will not record. So I didn't realize that until closer to nationals. So when I did my last competition, I signed up for both. And from now on, I'm doing both because I want to up my total in my age group, and also a lot of open meets, like the one I compete in Appleton for my open competitions, and they have medals for everyone now. Instead of before, it was just
It's my kind of competition, right?
yeah, exactly. Because I've never got a medal, and I want a medal. So they have it for instead of just men's and women's open. I'm pretty sure it's by age group.
So how was overall? I guess we'll work backwards here. How was your overall experience with your first time at nationals? Minus any sort of performance, which you did well. You know, you PR'd 2 out of your 3 lifts.
Honestly, it was the greatest experience I've ever had. I've been dreaming of this since, like I said, I started in 2020, and I got introduced because of YouTubers that I watch, like lifters. I watched their recaps at nationals and even worlds meets, and I was like, this is awesome being on a stage in front of all these people, and I've always wanted that. So I was like, when I walked in, as soon as I got to Memphis, it was on Friday. It was surreal. Like I'm still like I wouldn't say like I'm nerding out still. Like I feel like I don't know. It just felt good to be there. Like I felt like I was supposed to be there, and just seeing all these booths with all this stuff that I could waste money on. And I did. Oh God.
Look at all this stuff here you could waste money.
My dad hooked me up the whole time. I really appreciated him paying for a lot of stuff I got, but they had a lot of cool booths. But anyways, just seeing like the 4 platform stage, and platforms are the racks that people are lifting on, and seeing like these huge TV screens and the commentators, the live stream, it was just awesome. And this is kind of the coolest part of the whole thing, besides me competing, and I'll get to that, is my mom texted me during the competition, and she was like crying watching me compete and hitting my lifts because I was just live in front of her, like on the YouTube, and it just felt like it was emotional for her. But it definitely like made me more motivated when I saw that, and I think that was prior to my last squat, so I was pretty locked in the whole time, and I was just smiling the whole time. Like I try to get mad, because I like to, as you guys know, I like to get a little rowdy before I lift, and I was able to, but at the same time, I just couldn't stop smiling. So it was just amazing.
Yeah,
So.
they do a really good job with all the big screens, and they're filming the athletes while they're backstage, about to come onto the stage, and they're getting hyped with the headphones and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it is pretty good production value from that.
Did you see me on the screen when they were filming? Because I saw a lady filming me.
We saw a portion of it. Like we could see you like right before you walked out.
I think it might have been. So I did hire a company to film me. They had a booth there, but I ordered it. But there's a company called White Lights Media, and they film your meet. Depends on what package you get, but I did pictures and video, which was like $300, but it's worth it because it's all good stuff. So it was kind of cool seeing people film me when I lifted, but it
You
just
shout me out. Film.
yeah.
It's messed up.
Hey, all I want to say is the videos that I got from him and my dad were not Instagram worthy. So no, it's not your fault. Like you guys were in the back, and also the lighting and just the judges were at a weird spot. So like if you were sitting in the front, the judges were like pretty close to you. So if you try to film me, you would have to like army crawl and aim like this, or you'd have to stand on somebody. Like it was bad. So getting clean shots, you would have to pull from the live stream, and I saw people start posting on Instagram, and it looked like absolute garbage. So I'm waiting for them to send me my footage right now.
So okay, that's pretty awesome, right? It was a lot of fun. It was a cool stage to be on. That's great. Now let's go to your performance. So
Yeah.
What squat was first, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel the squat went?
Before I get to that, I apologize for being all over the place. I'm very exhausted, so my brain is just But in terms of squat, I mean, I've been dreaming of getting something close to 500 this whole year, and I'm definitely aiming for that. And December here, but I opened up with 424 and
Opened up meaning
so that's
we
my
explained
first
it-
attempt.
Yeah, you get 3 attempts per.
Yep. So it's 3 attempts per lift. Oh, sorry, were you still
No,
talking?
that's it.
So it's three attempts per lift, and usually your third attempt is where you wanna either hit a max or just get a lift. But the thing with nationals is the refs and the judges are super strict, and I mean I don't want to go on and on about all the rules and everything, but I was trying to explain to
We
these
don't have
guys.
that much time.
I was trying to explain to these guys the rules, and it's insane. But I smoked 424, moved really easy, so I had someone in the back with me helping me pick numbers and everything like that. So next I did 552, moved really good. The bar kind of rotated on my back, so it made it feel a little heavier than it was. But that moved good, and then my coach wanted me to do 480 for my final, and I did do that, but I smoked it. The lady on the commentator said that could have been my second attempt, and I don't know about second attempts, but I definitely had about 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds more in the tank, because it just felt good. But after that, I got into bench, and bench was a shit show.
What was your previous best for?
Oh yeah,
squat?
sorry. My previous best was 446 in my last
Okay, and then
competition.
you hit 4. What was your third attempt per squat?
480. So
480. So
yep.
30-pound increase ish.
It was still like a big, for me that was a huge increase because obviously, like I said, I had more in the tank, and only training 3 days a week, like I was scared that was gonna completely mess up my progress, but for only training 3 days a week, I mean everything shot up. So
Yeah.
but squat went great. 480 was perfect. So getting into bench, I opened up at 267, and this is all in kilos. That's why the numbers are weird, but I know they sound weird, but that's just how it is. So the nice thing about those competitions is I have a sheet that says like what kilos, and the next to it's the weight pounds.
Nice.
So yeah, it is.
Perfect.
And I have and I have an app on my phone too that helps me like calculate weight or load weight. So when I'm at a gym that has kilos, it's nice. But that 267 moved good. It felt really easy. So next I did 292, which all these numbers I picked based on what my coach wanted me to do because he couldn't make it. But if I felt like I could do something heavier, I would. But anyway, so 292. If you guys are looking for equipment, do not buy Stoic. It is probably the worst brand I've ever used, and I was so hype about them for so long, but it's cheap, it's crap. I've had so many issues with them ever since I purchased their equipment, but I wear wrist straps just to keep my wrists tight so I don't really feel much pressure on them when I have weight, and it unraveled on my right wrist as I was getting into the bench. Actually, no, when I unracked it is when it unraveled, and I had like 30 seconds left.
So that's the other thing, right? You only have a minute to do your rep.
Yeah, you have 1 minute every attempt for your rep. So I was like, I was zoned in, so I wasn't really freaking out about it, but I also wasn't paying attention to the timer because it was like, if I wanted to see the video board, I would have to look like that. But the ref was screaming at me that I had like 15 seconds left, so I didn't even tighten it. I just put the Velcro on, and I failed it because there was too much pressure on me. But the main thing besides that threw me off is my arms were shaking because of the pressure, and the ref like made me reset the first time, and then the second time he almost made me reset again, but I was able to kind of get my arms to be locked. So then I did the rep, I failed it, like I said.
Because there's 3 commands for bench, right?
Yep, there's obviously every time you hop on the platform, they're gonna say bar is loaded, and then you can do a lift off if you want. I do a self lift off, and I don't want to explain that, but it's pretty simple. And basically, after I unwrapped it, there's a start command, so they say start. You come down, and they'll say press, and then you wait. They say rack. But they're looking for a lot of things when you're doing that, and my arms were shaky, so it looked like my elbows weren't locked out. And if your elbows are not fully locked out like this, they're not gonna give you a start command. So that was an issue, and like I said, that's what led to my failure. Besides the wrist wrap, was also that. And then third attempt, I was pissed. I wanted more, so I was like, we just gotta smoke it. So they give you the option to either redo the weight that you picked, or go to 2.5 kg, which is like 5 pounds more than what you did. I think that's 5 pounds, right?
So,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
close.
So I ended up just redoing it, and
smoked it. You smoked the weight.
I smoked it, but it unraveled again. And then I actually had only like, what was it, 5 seconds to do that one as well?
It was close.
Yeah.
It was like, as soon as I got the start command, timer was gone pretty much.
Because there's that same like that one same thing happening again where you got to re-rack it once and then take it back out again. And like I would say you're killing probably a good 15-20 seconds just sitting there waiting for them to tell you to start and then you start to re-rack it.
And my setup takes time. Like just getting to my arch and getting my feet placed properly, it takes time. But yeah, so that's what happened is once I unracked it, it unraveled, and your equipment can't be like loose, it can't be touching the bar or anything like that, which is a big thing.
Sure.
And my first competition that actually, yeah, it's ridiculous. My first competition actually, that happened with my wrist wraps then too. So that screwed, and I freaked out, so I failed like almost every bench. But anyways, so it happened again on this wrist and felt the pressure, but I was like, nope, not happening. So after I re-racked it and fixed it really quick, but still wasn't tight, I redid it. Guy was freaking out again about my arms shaking, and I ended up smoking that. So I was a little mad because I was like, I had more in the tank, but so far I only failed one lift, and I was like, for nationals,
And what would have been the third attempt if you would have hit the second?
308 was my
308.
coach's plan, and honestly I would have had it 100%. And that would have been great because my last competition I failed it, and I had 297.6. So bench has been very bad the last 2 years, just because I've had to switch a lot of things technically, and the last 2 days of lifting I've kind of figured out my groove. Like this week I made some changes and it's feeling a lot better now. But
Perfect timing.
yeah, it is perfect timing. But well, I got lucky because I've had issues with my butt shooting up, and they don't
You have
obviously.
butt issues, is that what you're telling
Butt
me?
issues, yeah, because this guy. But anyways, I fixed it before the meet for the most part, so I didn't have that issue when I lifted because they would have not counted it. But I got pretty lucky when I benched and I got it, and that was just it felt good. And talking to these guys after each lift too was just nice because I felt like crappy because like I had more in the tank for squat and then bench that happened, and also seeing these people ahead of me with heavier lifts, I didn't feel strong. But these guys were there to motivate me, and it meant a lot, and also made me feel better, and I felt more locked in with that. So if they weren't there, I feel like I would have been beating myself up more. So that was nice.
Yeah, for sure. So bench didn't go as planned, but you still hit a good weight. Next
Yeah.
was deadlift, which is your strongest.
I would say deadlift's my strongest, but honestly, like that really hasn't progressed as much this year as much as I thought it would. But
When you say that, because it's been 6 months of preparing for nationals, right?
the thing
And your max squat went up 30 pounds.
yeah,
That's 60 pounds in a year if you keep that.
yeah, I mean, and that's good. I honestly though would have had probably like 70 if my bench went better and everything like that. But the reason why I'm complaining about my deadlift is because my last competition I failed 551 because I put it down too fast. I missed the down command and I smoked the weight. Ever since then it haunted me. So my deadlift, and that's a bad excuse, but my deadlift just sat at that max that didn't count a competition the whole year. So then I pulled 550. Was it 550? I think it was 555 or 550 a week prior to my competition. It didn't move too slow, but based on that, my coach wanted me to do 562. So I'm gonna get into my first attempt here before I get there. But coming to the meet, I knew that deadlift was gonna be a struggle because I knew I was gonna be tired after my squat and bench. But I said, you know what? Let's just see what I can do. So I opened up at 496, and I wasn't really happy to do that. I wanted to do a heavier weight, but my coach was like, no, you gotta do that. Open up with something lighter because I know you can jump pretty high in your deadlift. So that moved really easy. Then I did 540 for my second attempt, and that was 5 pounds more than what he wanted because I was like, nah, I want to move a little closer to my third attempt. 540 moved great. I got really in my head for that one because I wanted everything to just be perfect, and it was perfect. So after that, I was talking to my handler, a shout out Austin Nikolai. He did pretty good. He got third and he won his weight class. He's a strong kid. But anyways, so we were talking, and my coach, like I said, wanted 562. I wanted more. I was thinking about doing I think it was 572 or 573, and I was like, let's just be conservative and hit it. So 567 and a half was the weight that we put in. And you have, I think, like a minute after every attempt to put in a weight that you want, or something like that. So we just went with that. And then, as you guys saw, that went pretty well.
Yeah.
So definitely could have done that 5 pounds more, 10 pounds more, probably. But that was the end. And it was, I totaled 1340, got 14, well, no, not 14. What did I get 14? I'm trying to think of what, oh no, sorry. I got 10th out of 14
10 out of
people.
14.
Which, I mean, I know that sounds bad, but for who I was against, I'll take that. And I hit PRs, I upped my total by 60 pounds. Like, that's a good year for me.
I mean, at your first nationals, like not taking last is generally like positive, or hitting PRs is positive.
Exactly.
I mean, I think I had exactly the same amount of people at my first nationals. I took 10th as well. Like,
Yeah.
and I saw that as a positive experience. Like,
The main thing that made me happy, honestly, was getting my attempts. Because most people at that meet, a lot of people bombed out on squat, which means you don't get each attempt. So basically, when you bomb out, is like, I kind of explained it weird. So if I were to squat and they didn't like it, that's three red lights doesn't count, or 2 red lights. So pretty much, like, if I were to fail my opener, I can either redo it or go up. So just like my bench. So failed it again. Well, do it again. Oh, failed it again. You're out of the meet. So you can keep competing, but it's not going to count. So on any of your lifts, if you go 0 for 3, you're out. So your meets just, you can keep going, but
it's very important to pick proper weights. Like that is an art. You got to know yourself. If you have somebody picking your weights for you, they need to know your capabilities.
Yeah, and that's
if you go too light for some of them, you kind of screw yourself. For the lighter ones, you go too heavy, you miss all 3 reps, and now you're fucked.
Well, and that's why my dad pisses me off, because he's always saying, "Oh, dude," he's like the whole time he's like, "Oh, go 600 on deadlift, go 500 on squat," and I'm like, "You don't know me." Like, you're my dad. Like,
you don't know me.
He's my dad, but
he
I've
just
done,
has a lot of confidence in
he
you.
does, and I love that. Like, I love that he has confidence in me, but I'm playing. I told him, that was nice. I told him, like, I'm coming there to wait. I told him I'm there to be smart and not to be stupid, and that's why I didn't like go really high like that. And I knew squat might have got 500, maybe it would have been hard. Deadlift I would not have got 600, so that was a no-go. But yeah, I mean, people bombed out of that competition a lot. Like, there was a guy in my flight that did because of injury, and also, like, the main thing besides picking the wrong numbers that messes up people is judges, refs. Like, you could squat ass to grass and they will still not count it, because sometimes they're really annoying.
We watched some where they must be friends with the judges because they didn't hit depth and got white lights across.
Exactly.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Mostly in the professional.
Yeah, it's out there more than anywhere.
They had a pro meet at night, and it was pretty cool, but we noticed people that were clearly not hitting depth, and they got away with it.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, it also depends on the ref too. I had one of the most, like, strict refs for my head ref, and he was an asshole, because I talked to him when I had to weigh in, and he was just rushing people. He was like, strip down. I was like,
which, at least though, what the nice thing about the setup is your whole weight class at least is on the same platform. And so, like, you at least have the same judges. It's not like they spread you out and there's different judges across the board, which at least you're being judged the same, I guess.
It's nice, but I hate when they're, like, really strict like that. But sometimes it's nice because there's people that get away with, you know, bad depth and stuff, and that pisses me off. But regardless of that, I mean, there were so many people that just DQ'd. And there's a lot of people that actually came in with injuries that I talked to, and they decided to compete anyways. And actually, I don't know if you guys saw the video, and I should have sent it to you, but a girl broke her leg on deadlift.
At the meet?
Yes. I saw it on a video. She was doing, of course, a sumo deadlift. And I don't know, the way she was trying to lock it out, she was kind of hitching, so basically she was kind of like humping the bar to get it up, and her leg just
like at the femur or like lower leg?
It looked like it was in the quad.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
But it was bad. Like, it was gross. But I mean, yeah, it was definitely tough. Like competitors wise, there were some strong guys, but judging wise, it was pretty rough. But I got really lucky, and honestly, like I knew coming in too, I was confident in my abilities to not miss any commands and hit depth, so I wasn't worried.
Yeah. So circling back even further now, kind of working backwards, how did you feel about like your peak going into the contest, and like what was that process?
So peaking in powerlifting, depending on your style of training, your coach, can be very tricky. But my peak was pretty good. Like I ended up squatting 463 at an 8 RPE, so I had 2 more left in the tank. So 2 plus 1 is 3, so 3 reps, and it moved really good. And that was not supposed to be 8. That was supposed to be like a 9 RPE squat, and that smoked that. And then bench wise, wasn't happy with the way I peaked because. Nice shot. Okay. The way my bench peak was really bad, so the week before I did 303. I think I had like 292. My butt just clearly shot up, and then I did 303, and butt didn't shoot up, but it was tough. It was a tough lift, so I was nervous about bench. And then deadlift the 5. I think it was like 555 or something like that, 550, and that moved really good. But it also felt tough. But lifting on metal plates, in my opinion, is harder than kilos. So at least when I deadlift, it feels way harder. So yeah.
As much of a science as peaking is, right? There's still ways that are more beneficial depending on you as a person.
Yeah.
And is this your 5th time peaking for a contest? Or did you peak for each contest?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like each contest I've peaked, but it's gotten better over time.
Sure. Is this your second contest with this coach peaking?
This is number 1 actually.
First, okay.
So pretty good with him for my first, but.
So and then just peaking is from a high level, training your body to be ready to hit a max, amount on that lift at a certain day.
Yeah, and
it's just from a high level.
And you're looking to be essentially ultra recovered. It's
Yeah.
kind of what you're trying to be. You're trying to hit this super high level of recovery so that all your lifts come up and everything comes with it. And you're not going to stay peaked for like weeks. You peak for a contest and you can kind of sustain that peak, but it's just going to start coming down over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
The thing with peaking is you have to taper properly, and a taper is like the week of the meet. So your reps, your sets, it's all dialed down to like 3 or 4 at max. And it's just the weight is light, and you only lift for like 2 days. And it depends on your coach or trainer. I only deadlifted once that week of the meet. Some people deadlift twice, but I did squat and bench twice, and it was all really light, really low rep stuff. And that taper is supposed to help your body recover, but also it's supposed to help you stay warm for the competition, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need to do that before I compete, and then they end up not doing good because their body wasn't ready to just load weight after waiting a week. Because most competitions are held on Saturdays, but in terms of nationals, Thursdays usually when it starts.
So how do you feel this peak went in comparison to?
Yeah, I feel like I jumped the gun there. I apologize.
That's alright.
My peak, this is the best peak I've ever had.
Good.
Obviously, the way I did it prior was I never peaked properly. I didn't really know what I was doing. I still hit PRs across the board in other meets, or at least like meet PRs. Basically, meet PRs more than your last competition, but not more than what you've done in training. But anyways, this was my best peak. I hit huge PRs, had the best meet I've ever done, by the way. 8 for 9 is the best I've ever done on attempts. Before that was 7 for 9. So that was amazing. But it just was perfect. Like, my body didn't feel too bad coming into the meet. When I warmed up, I felt good. Just, it was good. So I'm really happy with the way that went.
How was your nutrition leading up to it?
Alright, so it's my time to leave now. I actually do have
Must
to go.
be nice being 19, bro. Must be nice.
I was gonna say, I am gonna roll out here pretty soon, but it was pretty shit. So I decided to quit college and do union work, and 12 to 14 hours a day. I don't really have much food with me, and if I do, it's just snacks or it's gas station food. So the main thing I was good about was drinking water, otherwise eating, not really good, didn't really eat a lot, no tracking, just kind of guesstimating everything. And I was able to maintain weight the whole time. And when a little ADHD there, huh?
Tell him, dude.
I know I was the same shit. But my nutrition was shit, so I didn't really care enough about it. But like I said, I still was able to maintain weight and weigh in at only like 193 and a half. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to these guys after because I never really talked to them much about my nutrition, and they were just fucking pissed. No, not really, but they were just like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't track. I don't really care." But now I'm tracking. I'm not gonna say that my diet still is amazing, but I'm just still tracking and getting as much protein and carbs as I can. I mean, I have like a set goal, like 200 grams of protein, 300 grams of carbs, and fat. Not really paying too much attention to it. But if I go over 100 grams of fat or 150, that's just way too much fat. But otherwise, I'm not crazy about it, tracking until now. So I'm happy with the that I kind of got my groove back with that this week. But I guess we're going to see where my diet takes me. I mean, it's not really strict, like I said, so we'll see. I mean, like I said, with this job, getting a lunch break and just getting food in is so hard. So
Sure.
For sure.
Do you have any other questions?
No, let's get you out of here.
yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully
Thanks
I
for coming in.
can do another one soon.
Thank God. Let's sit down.
Yeah, go ahead.
You stay in your fucking.
I know I talked
ADHD
longer than you guys wanted, so.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Less talking we gotta do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now your podcast only got like 21 minutes probably.
Alright. Nice, thanks for coming in.
Time to get out of here.
Make sure you take Trent. Oh. Thank you guys for having me. I'll see you
Is
guys.
this you?
No, it's me. That's my extra one.
Alright, later.
I guess while we head out real quick.
Come on, Daniel.
Oh my god. Oh, it's not.
Oh my God. I forgot you guys were here. You don't have to whisper, we're talking to you.
Are you still doing it?
Yeah.
We were.
Can
I
you
guess
edit
we'll
it
just-
out?
I guess
no, we're gonna put your
No.
face. I'm gonna zoom in.
I guess.
Oh,
Can you edit it out? Let me make a post.
Just in case you don't.
I guess while we got the phone in hand, we can dive into that real quick. We got an extra phone now because I went to the doctor this week, cardiologist. Noah's not the only one that's...
Hold on, can we talk about the 6 pounds you gained too before we
What do you want to start with?
I don't care as long as you talk about the 6 pounds.
We'll get
at
to the
some
6
point. Alright,
pounds.
he gained 6 pounds in one weekend. I don't know how, but he did it. Go on, your heart's broken.
Yeah, so
Broken heart.
the next step in the process of all my head shit that I've had going on for the last, we were just looking at the calendar, I think it's been a little over 2 months now. It started a little over 2 months ago. The neurologist basically said, I don't know what the fuck's wrong, so he sent me to the cardiologist. It's, like, legitimately, I walked in, I had already had an MRI done, walk into the neurologist, I was in there for less than 10 minutes, and he basically was like, yeah, we're just gonna refer you to a cardiologist. Because the MRI was clear, so, like, obviously, what does he think? I get to the cardiologist, and dude was just as confused as I was as to why I was at the cardiologist. And so, he's like, from what I can tell, you don't have any heart problems.
Perfect.
Because, like, they'd already run an EKG on me previously. And so, he's like, but you know what? You got referred here. We'll rule it all out. So, this phone connects to this heart monitor that's on my chest that I have to wear for a month. So, it's a month of a heart monitor, and then I go back in next week for an ECG, basically for them to tell me probably nothing is wrong with my heart. Now, great, if something's wrong, great, we catch it. Like, but, and from what he was saying, like, my symptoms don't link to heart problems. So, like, even if I have a heart problem, it's not going to fix whatever I got going on. So, whatever. We're doing the stuff.
Sure. I didn't even get a heart monitor. I'm so healthy.
They're doing a stress test, then they're going to give you a heart monitor.
Ah, shit, I got a call still.
Oh my god. It's Wednesday!
I'm not good at adulting, okay?
I'm
Keep
aware.
drinking your empty water bottle that you spilled all over.
I made the first one.
Oh my god.
So 6 pounds. I texted
6 pounds. We were driving for 18 hours of the weekend.
So
You didn't have time to eat.
we left Friday, came back Sunday. I messaged Noah on Monday, and I'm like, hey, I felt like we ate pretty fine this weekend, like nothing crazy.
Which, Olive Garden, you had all the breakfast burritos and brats at the freaking competition.
I said a breakfast burrito, and a single breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
I had a single breakfast burrito. We did Olive Garden. We did Burger King. And we went to the one place, the little shack, like
Oh my god.
The
shithole. The shithole.
the shithole.
Yeah.
So like, and the food that I ate was fine. Like obviously not healthy food or anything great, but put on.
But I don't think you overate, I guess is where I'm at. Like, yes, it was dog shit food, but come on in.
You come through.
It's fine, we'll just start over. Later, dude.
See ya. So it didn't make sense to me that I was up 6 pounds. So I messaged John like, we didn't eat that bad this weekend, right? How am I up 6 pounds? And I don't think either one of us have an answer for that.
No.
Because it'd be one thing too if I'd been cutting like crazy and like I was down low carb and things like that. But I was eating like shit. I was up 5 pounds over the last 2 weeks going into that. So then I put on another 6.
So it's been 11 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yeah, like it made no sense. So I can't explain it. My body's weird, but it's now 2 days later and I'm down like 3 or 4 pounds.
So it has to be some sort of bloat.
Sure,
Obviously.
but 6 pounds of bloat, like Jesus Christ.
Oh, what is 3? It was 3 pounds of body fat and 3 pounds of bloat.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're a strange bird. You're a strange bird.
And we don't have no one to compare because dude doesn't ever weigh himself because he doesn't care about his health.
Wow, shots are just being fired.
Yes.
We're not pulling punches. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No, I don't. I usually don't weigh myself. The last time I weighed myself, I was 202, and that was just to make sure that I weighed more than Adam.
Oh, you're back up to 202.
Yeah.
It's really weird because like your life goal was to get over probably 160, and now like you're
know.
trying to get below probably 200.
I know.
What is going on
What
right now? Oh my god.
You guys were supposed to act like I wasn't here.
It's tough to do that when I see a bun bobbing along.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So I'm trying to remember. I think I was mid 190s, upper 190s, and then kind of stopped tracking and actually, unfortunately, stopped lifting for a minute. And now, last time I weighed myself was 202. So we're gonna have to fix that because 202. Doing a half marathon just ain't gonna.
It's a lot of weight to carry.
It is a lot of weight to carry.
So try being 236.
No, I hope not. I hope not. This guy, how many weeks you got left before you want to hit this 215?
It's like 3.5. He doesn't believe I'll be 215 in 3.5 weeks.
We're taking bets. We're taking bets. What are you at right now?
I was 231, I think, this morning, or 232.
231, so you got 16 pounds to lose in 3.5 weeks.
That's right, about 5 pounds a week.
We'll see what happens.
I'm a miracle worker. Y'all are gonna shit your pants.
It sounds like you're gonna shit your pants in order to lose weight. Magnesium citrate's in your fucking future.
Whatever it takes, just to prove you wrong.
If I see you start water loading, I'm gonna kick you.
Red, why are you peeing so much?
It's fucking twat. So, we'll see. You have not missed weight one time since I've met you.
Yeah, I like it's. Even before I got here, like I'd make side bets with people, like, oh, I'll be this weight by this time, and I hit that shit. I may be running 6 miles a day, but I'll hit it. I don't like to lose. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's a lot of weight.
Uh-oh, the confidence is waning.
My issue is like
You're already down 3 pounds. What are you concerned about?
Well, my issue is the number of shit that I have now, like every week. It's not like, oh, I'm just dedicated to lifting and weight loss. But no, like tomorrow we're going to Chicago for a play. And then next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going into Chicago for 3 days and going to to go see a musical. So like we're in there for 3 days. Like it's tough to like stay like.
You got no chance.
It's the diet's the issue. Like I can still exercise while I'm there and stuff. Like that's not the problem. It's hitting the damn diet that's going to be the problem.
Yeah.
Now I think after that though, I am free and clear. No other commitments. Eyes on the prize.
Wedding. But at the wedding, you'll be free and clear. To start dieting. Yeah. Have fun. Have fun with that.
Whatever. When's the last time you lifted?
I came in and did some semi-sprints. I don't want to call them sprints. That sounds too aggressive.
Sure.
I ran quickly and walked back across the parking lot for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yesterday, I front squatted and I did single leg press. That's all I got through.
You sent me a video of you front squatting, and I thought it was a fucking GIF. It just, he was doing so many reps, and I'm like, am I just watching some shit on repeat?
That's how good my form is. Consistent, dude. Consistency is key. My hamstrings are fried today after doing front squats and single leg press where I was focused on quad. My hamstrings are absolutely fried.
You know the hamstrings are on the back of the leg?
I know that now. I don't know what I did. This happened twice in a row now. Where I try to hit a quad day, and the quads get a little sore, but the hamstrings get very sore. And obviously, like, I think that lower body stuff, it's this subtle things that you gotta do where it's like, really drive the knees forward to hit the quads. And if you sit back at all, you're gonna engage your hamstring. And I did catch myself on a couple of the front squats. I was always breaking the knees forward, but I caught myself on a couple of them, like squeezing my glutes at the top instead of squeezing the quad at the top. And so obviously I'm driving through glutes and hams, and so I don't know. Yeah. I did something though.
I know. I'm proud of both of us. The first couple runs, I'm like, holy shit, I'm 180 years old. My joints hurt. I can't remember how to run. I'm like, am I supposed to be on this part of my foot? Why does this feel so bad? And then I warmed up after a few runs, and I'm like, all right, this feels a lot better.
Beautiful.
It actually loosened up my hips, loosened up my lower back, and everything felt good. I should probably do it again.
Where are you aiming to put your foot for running? Like, what are you?
When I'm sprinting, right? Because it's different between sprinting and jogging. This would have been a sprint if I were to categorize it as one or the other.
So it turns out that's like old school mindset.
Which part?
That it's different for like sprinting and jogging. You want kind of a 4-foot strike no matter what.
I've only got 2.
Alright, and not here, guys. Because you're probably thinking for like a jog, you go heel toe, right? Like that's probably what you were taught. For
No.
What the fuck were you
No,
taught?
I don't know about the jog. The jog was more balls in my feet.
And then what would be a sprint?
I was pulling with my hamstrings like heel to toe. If it felt
On
good.
a sprint?
It wasn't really a sprint.
But was that what you were aiming for? That doesn't even make any sense.
It is what I was aiming for whatever reason.
Jesus
It
Christ.
felt good.
Like old school mindset is you're on your toes for a sprint.
This is all new school that I'm talking about.
And at the end of the day, I guess it makes sense. You go to your toes for the sprint because you're trying to be faster, you're trying to use your calves, and you don't have those. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Work with your strengths,
But
not your
it
weaknesses.
used to be, 4-foot strike on your toes for sprinting, and then you go heel toe for like jogging and long distance running. They've now changed it all from what I was reading. It's all 4-foot strike is what you're aiming for, which is very interesting.
Yeah, no, not doing that.
Because I think the heel toe is bad for your knees.
Felt great after I warmed up.
Yeah, so
I think running in general is bad for your knees, so fuck that.
So you ran and you felt like an old man, and then what?
And then I stopped running. No, I did some hangs on the fat pull-up bar to do a little bit of grip work, and I planned on doing more, but I'm gonna blame Brittany. We drove together and she was ready to leave, so I'm like, all right.
You need to give her longer workouts. But what I was going for is you felt like an old man when you started, but then by the time you were done.
And get some barking spiders down there.
by the time you were done, you said you were loosened up and you felt better, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I was saying. You just gave me the stupidest look ever. Oh my god. Alright, anything else you want to say about Luch before we get out of here?
No.
Luch!
Yes. No, we're proud of Luch. He did a really good job. I know he felt a little down at times, but just because you don't, there are so many positives that came out of that competition.
Sure.
At least from my perspective, looking at his experience. When you're able to smash your personal best 2 out of your 3 lifts at a national stage, to keep your composure and everything,
Well,
That's impressive. And he's 19.
And
He's 19.
It's such an individual sport that like where you place should have no bearing on how you thought you did.
Sure, especially when your numbers are predetermined.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah, you're lifting what your coach is telling you to lift at that, like for him at least, and like yeah, you had some wiggle room, but for the most part, like as long as you're hitting your numbers, you should leave happy. Otherwise, you probably should have set your numbers differently.
Right.
Like that's kind of
100%.
because you can't control what everyone else is lifting. So
No.
where you place should like yes, I get it. Like I want to be top 3 or whatever it is. Like I want
Of
to
course.
get a trophy. I want to win and whatnot. But what you do has no bearing on what anyone else does. So like there's not much you can do about that. So as long as you hit your shit and hit the lifts you wanted to, there's no reason not to be happy. With
Yeah.
how you finish.
Absolutely, and as he gets more comfortable, he dials in with his peaking process. He gets his fucking nutrition right. It's gonna be a monster. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
for
a
sure.
monster. So.
Yeah. Till next time, guys. Like, comment, share, do all the stuff. Thanks.